Everyone, it's Charlton, and there was this Kellyanne Conway was on State of the Union, which was Dana Bash. That's her name, right? It is Dana Bash, yeah, from CNN was guest hosting it or whatever, or substituting for him. So they had a pretty feisty exchange about her husband, about Kellyanne Conway's husband, because he has tweeted sort of some snarky anti-Trump kind of stuff recently. It's been in the news. I've seen it. So she asked her the question, and Kellyanne Conway doesn't appreciate it. Want to just show it to you, and then maybe make a few comments afterwards. I'm live streaming on Periscope as I play this. It's fairly long. It's not like super long, but it's like 6 minutes, and I'd rather just play it through, because it's all pretty it's pretty hot, it's pretty, pretty feisty or whatever. So here we go, man. All right, let me do that. And just so, I mean, it's worth watching. Believe me, I wouldn't show it to you if it wasn't worth watching.
Kellyanne, we're almost out of time. I just want to ask you one question that a lot of people are asking me, probably you too, and that is, what is up with your husband's tweets? Your husband is a very well-respected lawyer, and he's been sending some tweets that have been critical of the administration. Just an example, in response to a tweet he saw saying President Trump's aides are reluctant to speak for him because he contradicts them later. Your husband wrote, "So true, it's absurd."
He writes a lot of things that are also supportive, and he writes a lot of things about corgis and Philadelphia Eagles and sports too. But the fact is, well, two things I'll say to you. Number one, that again, that woman who lost the election, whose name I never see on TV anymore, is wrong. That women, I think she said white women, have to listen to their the men in their life to form their own political opinions. Wrong again, lady. Number two, it's fascinating to me that CNN would go there, but it's very good for the whole world to have just witnessed that it's now fair, that it's now fair game what people's how people's spouses and significant others may differ with them. I'm really surprised, but in some ways relieved and gratified to see that. That should really be fun.
No, I actually, first of all, I would ask you that if you were a man and your wife would. 1,000% I would. No. And it's not about that. It's about questioning, publicly questioning what you are doing for a living with regard to your boss. And it has nothing to do with your gender.
And it has nothing to do with my spouse. And
right, that's what I'm just asking.
Oh no! You just brought him. Into this, so this ought to be fun moving forward, Dana.
Okay.
We're now going to talk about other people's spouses and significant others just because they either work in the White House or at CNN. Are we going to do that? Because you just went there.
Yes.
CNN just went there. Look, differences of opinions.
I'm not. By the way, this isn't critical. I'm just asking about.
Of course it was. It was meant to harass and embarrass. But let me just tell you something.
Absolutely not.
Let me just tell you something. By definition, spouses have a difference of opinion when adultery is happening. More. By definition, spouses have a difference of opinion when one is, draining the joint bank account to support things that maybe the other disagrees with. So this is a fascinating cross the Rubicon moment, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, that certainly was not intended to cross any Rubicon. It was actually intended to be somewhat lighthearted about the fact that we are all grown-ups who have different opinions. But I'm sorry that you took it that.
You said I've got to ask you a question that's on everybody's mind.
It is. I'm sure you hear it too. It is, and it is hard to have two adults in a situation like this. But it is unusual.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
It is unusual.
I'm sorry. It's hard for whom? I'm sorry. Back it up.
It is hard. It is hard.
Who are the two adults? My husband.
You and your husband. My point
is. Now you're talking about my marriage again.
I'm not talking about your marriage. Kellyanne, here was my whole point in this.
It's hard for him.
Is that you are a professional working for the President of the United States, and your husband is a very well-respected lawyer. And my point is that we don't often see, in fact, I don't remember the last time we saw somebody working for the President in a high-profile position when their spouse is saying critical things about them. That is all. That is all.
Well, that is not true. There are other family members of people who work at the White House who certainly don't support the president privately and publicly. But I will tell you this, and there are people who have been in his administration who worked for Democrats or gave money to Democrats. But all that aside, that really is meant to divert attention from, again, the big issues that America cares about. But like I said, CNN chose to go there. I think that's going to be fascinating moving forward. And don't deny that when you just said it must be difficult. I do want you to clarify, though, for the whole worldwide audience, and in fact for me, since you raised me, it's, quote, difficult for whom to have two adults?
No, my point only is that
difficult for my children who are probably watching you right now, because it's not hard for them.
I didn't say
they've already seen a double standard for their mother for 2 years.
It is not about gender. I don't want to have this conversation. You know that I don't believe that it's about gender.
No, it's not about gender. Hold on. It's not about gender. There's been a different standard for me than there have been for other people. And we bite our tongue plenty because I work for the people of this country, the United States government, the presidency, and the president of the United States. So there's plenty that I don't say. There's plenty that I don't talk.
Absolutely. I'll just give you because you went back here. Because you went there. You were always invited back here. Because you went there, I'll just give an example because you asked. Andrew McCabe. The president went after Andrew McCabe for something that his wife ran as a Democrat, and that had nothing to do with the president.
No. The president knew something early that everybody else is now finding out. The president has excellent instincts, and he knew.
But he didn't say that. He talked about his wife.
You don't know that he didn't say that. He knew that Andrew McCabe could not be trusted. And look what happened just this week. Andrew McCabe, it's admitted now that he lied 4 times, at least 3 under oath, Dana. Criminal referral just this week because he lied about leaking to the media. This is...
Okay, so, that was, it was really pretty good, or else I wouldn't even bother to show it to you. And, I pretty much think anything's fair game, so I don't really have a huge problem with it. Although Kellyanne is absolutely right. She makes a point. I don't have a clue what most, most spouses do, for the most part, it's not talked about. So the fact that she's a woman, she might have a point there. Just for the heck of it, I know Chuck Todd, that came up this week with, there was a flip between him and Sean Hannity because he went after Hannity for his relationship with Cohen, having being a client of Cohen, and he didn't make that public knowledge, but his wife is a political consultant. I never knew that, and but my point is that Chuck Todd almost made it sound like everybody knows that, and I'm like, political gossip is one of my favorite things in the world, believe me, and I didn't know that. I had no idea that his wife, Chuck Todd, his wife was a political consultant, had worked for the DNC, had worked on Bernie Sanders' campaign or something like that, and some other things. And while I was at it, just for the heck of it, I looked up Dana Bash, and I found things out about her. Her husband was John King. Her husband, and I don't really care. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's really none of my business, but I don't know. This is how these things go. But her husband is John King, the dude who's on CNN. He's got his own show on Saturdays. She's not. Well, I think they divorced. She was married from 2008 to 2012. Just so you know who I'm talking about. He's got. It's not real important, but that's he's on CNN, and he trashes Trump. Way worse than she does, Dana Bash. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But, that's, I don't know. There's always been this thing about reporters, you're not allowed to ask them questions. Like, they get all hot and heavy when you actually turn around and ask them a question. They're like, we're the one asking the questions here. But I disagree, it can go, but anything's fair game. That's the point. All right. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.